101 FM, Jackson, Mississippi.
Skies and shine, so talks money, the future's alive. Grab your coffee, let's take a ride. It's wealth and wisdom, time will rise. Author, investor, educator, team sharing the wealth, building things you should do. From trust to thinking, it's all a must. Your guide to wealth is learning and trust. Legacy matters, secure it right. Dreams take shape with every insight. Wills and assets, life insurance, plans, building for your future with expert hands. So talks money and more. Building wealth with knowledge galore. Asset protection, plans to grow. Tune in and watch your dreams overflow. From saving today to trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. From saving today to trust for life. Breaking generational wealth divides. Healthcare directives, banking tips. We're here to help your fortune eclipse. And now it's time to learn. So wisdom's your return. Invest, protect, and thrive for sure. Signing off is old talks, money, and more.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is time to rise and shine because So is back on the air and I am talking money and more. Get up, get that coffee, turn the radio up, call a friend, text a friend. Let them know that the conversations continue. I want to welcome you to another powerful and purposeful edition of So Talks Money and More, where we are educating, enlightening, informing, and empowering our community. I am your host, Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. Y'all know what I do. I am so noted and I am so excited and so delighted to be back in Studio B this morning. Good morning to my co-host, Mr. Larry Armstrong. It is good to be back. Now, I want to just start by saying that today's conversation is not one that I chose to have. I did not choose this, but I feel called to have this conversation. It is purposeful, it's personal, it's painful. Gotta do it. There's some things that we have to talk about. I'm not just speaking today to you as your life and legacy planning strategist. I am speaking to you as a grandmother. I think you will recall the last time I was on air, which was just a few weeks ago with this show specifically. I was pouring out my heart. I was so excited because I had become a new grandmother, not to just one grandchild, but twins, two beautiful granddaughters. And in the span of just a few weeks, my heart has been forever changed by the life and loss of my beautiful granddaughter, Vivienne Marie. So today's show is in honor of Vivienne, and I want to talk about what this whole experience has taught me, specifically that I feel adds to the conversation that I have been having with you for a few years now. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. My Vivi girl, as I call her, was here for 6 weeks, just 6 weeks. And yet, in those short 6 weeks, she left an imprint, not only on my heart, but on this world that cannot be measured by time. And what I've come to understand from that is that some lives are not measured in years. They're measured in impact. I want you to think about that and let that sit with you for a moment. Some lives are not measured in years. They are measured in impact. And I would venture to say to you that many of the people that made significant contributions to our society and our world were not here for a long time. They did what they came to do and they left. When I think about people like Dr. King, Medgar Evers, and even as we enter this Holy Week, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, these are people that were only here for a short period of time, but they made an impact on this world. And although Vivi's life, though it was brief, it has carried a weight and a message that I cannot ignore. And I will not keep it to myself, because what I have learned through her life and her passing, it connects directly to what I've been teaching. The importance of estate planning. Now, let me say this. I want to be clear right here at the beginning so that no one misunderstands, because I know people will view this episode at different times. Some of us are joining live. Some of us are actually going to be watching the replay. But I want to make sure that you understand and not misunderstand the heart of this message. It's not about fear, not trying to scare anybody. It's not about trying to force you into any action. This conversation today is about responsibility. It's about love in action. And it is about stewardship. Because when we truly love our families, we don't just say it. We prepare for them. We don't just hope things will work out. We make sure that things will work out by putting things in place so that not if, but when life happens, and it will, when life happens, our families are not left trying to figure out what to do in the middle of their pain. And I want you to just sit with a question for a moment. I don't want you to rush past it. I don't want you to dismiss it, but really sit with it. Sit with it. If something happened to you today, will your family be prepared? Not just emotionally. No, they won't be prepared emotionally in most instances, unless it's a situation where someone has been diagnosed and, they're terminally ill and people have had a chance to prepare. But in an instant, if you were no longer here, something happened to you, would your family be prepared? None of us are ever fully prepared for loss. But would your family be prepared? Would they know what to do? Would they know where things are? Would they know what you wanted? That's a question I want to just let that sit with you. Or would they be left trying to piece things together? Your life. Would they be left trying to piece those things together in one of the hardest moments of their lives? I need you to sit with that question. Again, as we enter Holy Week, I'm going to put it to you another way. I'm going to put it to you the way the preacher put it to us on yesterday. If you knew that you only had 1 week left on this earth, how would you spend it? Would you get yourself in order? Would you get your life in order? Your family in order? Your affairs in order? How would you spend it? I want you to sit with that. We're going to walk out these, what I'm calling the 5 things I learned from the passing of my sweet Vivienne Marie, and why estate planning matters now more than ever. Why it matters. For those of you that may be just joining us, I want to welcome you to the show. I am Dr. Sabrina Edmund Williams, your life and legacy planning strategist. And I'm here today with a very personal message because I've been through something. And although I have been on a journey trying to raise awareness, educate, inform, enlighten, and empower my community for the last 3 years around the whole topic of estate planning, I've gone through something very personal over the last few weeks. So I have a totally different perspective when I come to you with this conversation. So let's walk through these lessons that I have learned. Now, the very first lesson that I learned, one that has settled deep in my spirit, is this: our days are numbered, not estimated, not loosely tracked. They are numbered. And yet we live as if some of us, like we have an endless supply of time. We push things off. We delay decisions. We tell ourselves we'll get to it later. We assume that because we are here today, we'll be here tomorrow. But time is not something that we control. Time is something that we are given. It's a gift. And what I've come to understand in a very real way is that time is not promised, it's assigned. And with that in mind, I challenge us to act accordingly. We don't have all the time in the world. My sweet Vivi girl had 6 weeks. That's all she was given, 6 weeks. 6 weeks to allow us to love her, 6 weeks to make an impact on this world, which she did. Now, my question again to you is, what are you doing with the time that you've been given? Knowing that your days are numbered, how will that impact how you move going forward? Or will it even have an impact? There are some conversations that we need to have. There are some people that we need to talk to, mend some bridges, relationships. We are a relationship with family, friends. There are some things we need to do with the limited time that we have. And so if Dr. Williams can tell you anything from what I've learned, from what I've been through, go ahead and do it. Drop that pride. Make that phone call. It's okay, because you don't have all the time in the world to get it right. And once the time has expired, you don't get another opportunity. Do what you need to do now with the time that you have. Some people are assigned many years. I think about my dad. If the good Lord says the same, he'll be celebrating a milestone birthday on Easter Sunday. And I'm so thankful for that. But yet, as I think about my sweet Vivi girl, I think about those who are assigned a fewer number of years, only a short period of time. Here is what we must not miss. The length of time does not determine the value of life. I'm going to say that again because somebody may have missed it, and I don't want you to miss this moment. The length of time does not determine the value of a life. Every life matters. Every life has purpose, and every life leaves something behind. The question is not whether you will leave something behind. The question is what you will leave behind, and whether it will be clarity or confusion, peace or pressure, direction or division. And this is where estate planning becomes so important, because estate planning is not about, it's not about how long you live. It's about how prepared you are. It's about recognizing that while you may not control time, we don't control it. You do have control over your preparation. You do have control over your decisions. You do have control over whether or not your family will have what they need when you are no longer here to provide it. You have control over that. And so I ask this again. If your time was shorter than what you expected, we each expect to live a long life. But if your time was cut short, would your affairs reflect that you were a good, listen to me close now, a good steward of what you were given? Would the people you love be able to say they thought about us? They prepared for us. They made this easier for us. Or would they be left saying, I wish we had talked about this. I wish we had known. I wish they had taken the time. And the reality is, my friends, in so many instances, our families are left wishing, because even though I've been talking about it for 3 years, and there are many that were talking about it long before me, the numbers are still relatively the same. Only about 30% of us have done anything to prepare. Don't leave your family wishing. Do what you need to do. Your days of your life are numbered. Now, the second lesson that has been placed on my heart is this. We never know the day or the hour. We don't know the day or the hour. The days are numbered, but here's the kicker. We don't know what that number is. Life doesn't send us a reminder. Death doesn't knock on the door and say, I'm coming today. I'll be there on Friday. No, it doesn't give us a countdown. It doesn't say, as my good friends, the S.E.W Tigers, they let us know it's time to get ready. No, that's not what death does. It doesn't say, I'm about to change everything in your life. When I went to bed on a Thursday night, after holding, loving, rocking my sweet Vivi girl, I had no idea that on Friday morning, the 3 words that I dread, she's not breathing, had no idea I would hear those words. None whatsoever. Life is not like that. It doesn't give us a countdown. It simply happens. And when it happens, you don't have the luxury of going back to prepare. You're either prepared or you're not. That's the way it happens. That's the way it happens. And I've seen what happens when families, people aren't prepared. I've seen families searching for documents, trying to locate information, trying to make decisions without guidance. I've seen it. I'm not talking about what happened in your family. I'm talking about what happened in my own. I have seen people asking questions that should have already been answered. Who's in charge? What account exists? What bills need to be paid? What did they want? And in the middle of all of that, people were trying to grieve. They're hurting. They're trying to process loss while also trying to manage responsibilities that they were not prepared to carry. I understand that. I understand that. I went through that just 3 weeks ago myself, trying to process loss while still having to handle responsibilities. And let me tell you something. Grief, grief is heavy enough on its own. I think my good friend, Mr. Larry Armstrong over here will agree. Grief is heavy enough on its own. It does not need confusion added to it. It does not need chaos added to it. And that is exactly what estate planning helps to prevent. It provides answers before the questions are ever even asked. It provides direction before decisions have to be made. It allows families to focus on honoring the life instead of trying to figure out logistics. And I want you to think about one person, just one person in your life who would have to step in if something happened to you. The person who would be responsible, the person who would have to make the decisions, the person who would have to carry out your wishes. Have you made that person's job easier or have you made that person's job harder? Have you given them the clarity or have you left them with questions? What have you done? Because love says, I don't want to leave you guessing. Love says, I don't want to leave you burdened. Love says, I have taken the time to make sure you are not carrying a weight that I should have handled. That's what love says. So I want you to think about it. We don't know the day, we don't know the hour. But if we believe what the word says, we know that we didn't come here to stay. We're just passing through. Our time is coming. It's coming. Now, the third lesson, and for those of you that may just be tuning in, thank you for joining the show. Welcome again. I am Dr. Sabrina Williams. I am here today making my return. I am your host of So Talks Money and More. And this morning we are talking about 5 things that I've learned from the recent passing of my firstborn grandbaby, Vivienne Marie. And we talked about one thing being the fact that our days are numbered, and number 2 was we don't know the day nor the hour. And the third thing I've learned, and one that many people avoid because it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. This funerals have cost. And a funeral home expects to be paid, not later. They don't have a payment plan. They're not trying to hear that. They're not putting it in the layaway and all that stuff. No. Not when the family figures it out. Not when emotions are settled. Not when y'all stop arguing. They expect to be paid at the time when services are rendered. Because, see, they've gotten hip to our mess, our game. You put folks in the ground and you hear this, oh, we'll be back later. But once they get them in the ground, folks don't come back. We don't honor our word. And so the funeral home has an expectation that they are going to be paid. And here's the truth that we often don't want to face. Grief and financial responsibility show up at the same time. Grief and financial responsibility show up at the same time. Ask me how I know. Because just 3 short weeks ago, I was sitting across the table from the funeral home owner. And although he was very kind, compassionate, understanding, soft spoken, Miss Williams, I'm so sorry for your loss. If there's anything we can do to help you. Let me tell you how the conversation ended. And how will we be taking care of this today? Grief and financial responsibility show up at the same time. You can be heartbroken all you want and still have to make financial decisions. You can be overwhelmed and still have to sign paperwork. You can be in shock and still have to figure out how to pay for services. And when there has been no planning, that burden, it becomes even heavier. Families are not just grieving, they're scrambling. They're trying to pull resources together. They're trying to make decisions quickly. And all of this is happening in one of the most emotionally difficult moments of their lives. Ask me how I know. Been there. This is why preparation matters. Because preparation says, even if I'm not here, I have already taken care of this. It's an act of love. It is an act of responsibility. It is an act of stewardship. We're going to be talking about that word a lot because I think we fail to understand that we have responsibility. We have been given the responsibility of stewardship. Whether it is life insurance, final expense planning, or simply making your wishes known, it creates a level of peace for your family that cannot be overstated. Can't be overstated. And I will ask you something. Let me ask you something again that may make you uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Again, I ask this question. If something happened to you today, would your family be grieving? Or would they also be trying to figure out how to pay for your final arrangements? Now, with that, I'm looking at the clock. I see we're at the half hour mark, or we're approaching the half hour mark. So I'm going to let that sit with you as we go to our station break. And on the other side of the break, I'll be back. I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, your life and legacy planning strategist. I am returning to the chair right here in Studio B today, WMPR 90.1 FM. We're broadcasting from Jackson, Mississippi. And today the conversation is a personal one. I am sharing 5 lessons that I have learned over the last few weeks from the passing of my sweet firstborn grandbaby, Vivienne Marie. I'm going to throw it to you, Mr. Armstrong, for our station break. And on the other side of the break, come on back because I still got a couple of more things I need to say.
Hines County residents, one ambulance trip can cost you several $100s or more. Not even Medicare pays 100% for ambulance trips, and sometimes insurance and Medicare pay zero. Membership with AMR cuts the cost of qualified ground ambulance trips from AMR anywhere in Mississippi and Louisiana up to 60%. One fee of about $100 enrolls everyone in your household through July 2026. AMR's ambulance membership line 601-368-2301. 1-601-368-2301. AMR is a proud supporter of WMPR.
All right. Thank you. We are back. Again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to So Talks Money and More. We are having some real conversations over here this morning. This is the talk show where we enlighten, we educate, we inform, and we empower our community. We talk about money matters. We talk about estate planning. We talk about what's going on in our community. I have been on what we would call at the university a little hiatus, a little short break, but I'm back in the studio B this morning, and we're having a real conversation about 5 things that I have learned over the past 3 weeks as it relates to the passing of my firstborn granddaughter, Vivienne Marie. If you were not tuned in on the first half hour, I see we have folks checking in on YouTube. Welcome to the conversation. We're counting them down. We're talking about them. Number one, we talked about the fact that our days are numbered. We don't know how many days we have here on earth, but the good Lord knows. He knows. He knew when he created us how long we were here to stay. We can't take that for granted. We can't take for granted, number two, that we don't know the day nor the hour when we will leave here. And number three, we can't take for granted the fact that even without preparation, there is financial responsibility that comes when we pass away. And so these are things that Dr. Williams is encouraging us to remember, to understand, and to help us use these things to go ahead and get our affairs in order. Now, number four, I ask, the fourth lesson is one that we don't talk about enough, and we need to. Unexpected death can create tension in families. It does. I've seen it in my own family. And it's not because we don't love each other a lot of times. It's not because of that. It's simply because we fail to plan. And where there is no plan, people are left to interpret, to assume, to decide. And when emotions are high, and you know when someone passes away, when something happens, our emotions can get very high. Those interpretations do not always align. Now, if you have one child, one person that's left to make the decision, perhaps. But for those of us that have more than one child and more than one person who has an opinion, they're willing to express and that wants to be involved in the planning, emotions can run high. And interpretations, again, they may not always align. And so what happens? Confusion turns into frustration. Frustration turns into disagreement. Disagreement turns into division. And what should be a time of unity becomes a time of conflict. I have seen it. Families who love each other, families who have history together, families who have shared life together now find themselves in disagreement because there was no clarity, no documentation, and no direction. And this is why I say estate planning is not just about assets. See, we get it wrong. People call me all the time, Dr. Williams, well, what do I need to do? I don't have any assets. I don't own my own home. I don't have cars. I don't have this. I don't have that. It's not just about assets. It's about relationships. It's about protecting not just what you have, but who you love. It's about removing the pressure from people to figure things out in the middle of their grief. It's about saying, this is not for you to decide. You don't have to decide what I wanted or what I would have wanted. I have already made the decisions. I'm convinced. That's why a lot of these funeral services are way too long, you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and say what some folks are already thinking. You go to funerals, they start in the morning and they end in the evening. That may not have been what our loved ones wanted. That's what we want. That's what we want. Okay? That's what we want. Y'all give me just 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. I hate to have to do this, but I hear someone doing some lawn care, and I don't want that to overshadow what I'm saying because y'all need to hear this. Give me 1 second. Let me close the door. All right, thank you for that. I'm back with you. I got too much to say, and this is too important. I need you to hear what I'm saying. Again, I go back to these long funerals. I understand one of our icons passed recently, and you guys know who I'm talking about. And I was told, I don't know because I did not tune in, that I think the services were aired over something like a 2-day period. You guys, let me just tell you this. I'm going to tell you what my mama always says. We live our funeral. We live our lives. That says everything we need to say. Some of y'all need to hear this. We need to stop this. Stop this. Stop it. 2 hours, 3 hours is too long. Some of us need to respect the fact that when folks say you got 2 minutes to talk, give your 2 minute spiel and go sit down. Go sit down. We don't have a heaven or a hell to send nobody to, put nobody in. They have lived their lives. Say what you need to say and go sit down. And try to be respectful when you're saying it, because sometimes, even in giving our 2 minute comments, we are not being respectful. Okay, I just thought I would add that because somebody is thinking it. Dr. Williams is just saying it for you. Now, I'm going to get back on script. Okay, where was I? Estate planning again. It's not just about assets. It's about relationships. Leadership. What we're so lacking in our community, a lot of our families, leadership. Leadership is taking charge, making sure you're doing what you need to do to prepare your family. That's leadership. That's responsibility, and that is love in its truest form. Now, we get to the fifth lesson, the fifth thing that this experience has shown me and taught me, and this is one that sits deep in my heart. Legacy is not determined by how long we live, but how impactful we live. The impact that we leave behind. 6 weeks. My Vivi girl lived 6 weeks. And yet her life has created conversations, awareness, purpose, and a shift that will extend far beyond those 6 weeks. Far beyond those 6 weeks. And you ask me, what do you mean, Dr. Williams? Well, I'm talking about it. I've learned something from the experience I have to share with you to help you. And if I don't impact but just one person, if I don't impact but one person and get one person to move toward getting their affairs in order, that's impact. That's legacy. My Vivi girl her parents decided to donate her organs. So another child now lives because my Vivi girl lived. That's impact. That's legacy. I want you to think about your legacy and understand something. We all have an opportunity to leave something behind, something to behind. We must understand legacy. It does not begin when we die. It is built while we are living. I'm going to say that again because somebody needs to hear it. Legacy does not begin when we die. It is built while we are living. Every decision we make, every action we take, every step we take toward preparation is shaping what we will leave behind. Estate planning is simply the structure that ensures your legacy is carried out the way you intended. It's the bridge between what you built and who you built it for. It's the difference between leaving behind confusion and leaving behind clarity, between leaving behind stress and leaving behind peace. And so now the question becomes, what are you going to do with what you've heard today? What are you going to do with what you've heard today? Because hearing the message is one thing, but acting on it is another. Information does not change lives, action does. And as I like to say, I can give you the information, I can give you the education. We can even have conversation around this topic all day long. But unless and until there is implementation, application, y'all know what I'm about to say. Your situation is not going to change. It's not going to change. Things are going to stay the same. So if you know that you have been putting this off, if you've been saying, I'll get around to it later, let today be the day you make a different decision. Get organized, take inventory, identify your assets, choose your decision makers, have the conversations, but most importantly, put the documentation in place. Because at the end of the day, again, this is not about documents. This is about dignity. This is about responsibility. This is about making sure that the people you love are protected, provided for, and prepared. Now, if a 6-week life can leave a legacy, imagine what you can do with the time you have. Just imagine what you can do. Some of us been around here for a long time. Just imagine what you can do with the time that you have, but only if you are intentional. Don't wait, don't delay, don't assume. Start today. Well, Dr. Williams, what are some things that I can do today? I'm so glad you asked. One of the first things that I'll tell you that all of us can do, make sure our money orders are in place. Our money affairs are in order. Get to your banks. Go in and ask them for a POD, that's P as in Paul, payable on death form, and complete it. Don't just assume that just because you have your money in a bank account, something happens to you, your family will be able to access your funds. That's not how it works. Go complete the form. It's called a POD, pay on death, for every bank account that you have. Don't just assume that because your wife's name or your husband's name or your child's name is on the account that they will be able to get it should something happen to you. Because you have to ask yourself, what happens if you and your wife are in the same accident and both of y'all go at the same time? Now who gets the money? How does your family get it? There are some things that you can do. If you're listening to me, write this down. Go on and do it. Number 2, we all need an advance directive. Or some people refer to it as a living will. We all need that. Because the reality is, we will probably become incapacitated at some point along this life journey before we die. Think about the number of people that got sick during COVID. And you had people questioning whether they wanted, be on a ventilator, all these different questions that people had because people had made it clear or plain what their desires were. All an advance directive is direction for what should happen to you should you become incapacitated. What type of end of life treatments do you want? Your family should not be arguing at the hospital on whether or not to resuscitate you. You need to leave some instructions behind for what you want. That's easy to do. Easy to do. Number 3, your financial power of attorney. These are simple things that you can do. How should your money matters be handled if you are incapacitated and you can't handle these things? Who makes the decision? Who pays the bills? Because let me just tell you this. It does not matter what storms you are going through in your life. The bills don't stop. People don't care. Light company doesn't care. Water company doesn't care. A lot of y'all dealing with Jackson Water. You think they care? They don't care that your child just died. Your husband died. They don't care about that. They still have an expectation. Remember what I said? Grief and financial responsibility coexist. There is still an expectation that the bills are going to roll in and they need to be handled. So you need to make sure at a minimum that you do those things. Also, simple things that you can do. These beneficiary accounts that many of us have, whether that's your 401k, whether that's your life insurance, whether these are your CDs, whatever it is that you do have, make sure that the beneficiaries reflect on paper what your actual wishes are. A lot of times we find ourselves putting these things in place when we're in one relationship. We may find ourselves later in life in another. But if we never go back and review these documents, what we put in place initially is what is going to be honored. Know that. Understand that. Understand the implications of that. Understand that. There are things that we can do, things that we need to be doing. We have no time to waste. These things are too important for us to sleep on. They were so important that I woke up from my sleep to be here today to share this messaging. Please don't wait. Don't act like we got all the time in the world because we don't. Make the time. We do for everything else that we want to do in life. None of us are too busy to die. I'm going to let that sit right there. None of us are too busy to die. So make the time. Make the time to get things right. Now, with that being said, I'm looking at the clock and I know our time is quickly expiring. And I have to pause right here, you guys, and just bear with me. I'm going to try to do this without getting overly emotional. I just want to take this opportunity to extend my thanks, my sincerest thank yous to all of you who have reached out to me over the past 3 weeks that I have been in this storm. I mean, literally thousands of people have reached out via social media. I've had people that have texted. I've had people that have called. I had people that showed up. You know, those That means a lot, you guys, when people will just simply show up. No invitation, no instructions, none of that. I came to see about you. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. So many of you have shown up for me over the last 3 weeks in so many different ways, whether that was, sending food to my house, whether that was sending mementos, flowers, money. You have shown up, and I am sincerely appreciative. As I say, thousands and thousands of people have reached out to me via social media, people I don't even know. And it's because of that that I'm able to sit here, that I'm able to be here today, because I truly decided to take this pain and turn it into purpose. Is it easy? No, it's not. But I think about where we are in time, this space and time. I'm connected to so many others that have experienced loss and were able to pick themselves up and one day at a time move on and move forward. I don't have to look far to see that example. I look to my left and I see my co-pilot over here, Mr. Larry Armstrong, just walked in the shoes that am now walking through. Just a few months ago, it was him. So many others. But I think especially about where we are in time. This is Holy Week. Our Lord and Savior, his Father, experienced the same thing, you guys. And imagine, as I told you, we don't know, but in that instance, he knew his time on earth was short. Yet and still, he was willing to endure everything that was necessary for our good. And seeing that example and knowing that, y'all, how can I not show up? How can I not be here in this moment? There's so much to do. It's a lot of work, and we know the laborers are few. A lot of work to be done. So Dr. Williams is here. I'm back. I'm going to show up because I got some stuff to say. We as a community have some work to do. We have some work to do. And I'm going to be here doing my part, and I'm going to be encouraging you and inviting you to do yours, to help us change some things. Because if we sit back and we continue to be complacent, we will find ourselves in a place that we really don't recognize. And a lot of that is happening right now. So I'm back. Got a lot to say. I released a new book earlier this year. Second in my series, Learning to Trust. This one is called Biblical Wisdom for Building, Protecting, and Transferring Wealth. This book is a guide, and it's designed to help us, our faith-based community in particular. I am looking for churches. I want to come to church with you. Invite me to your church. I want to give a shout out today to Amazing Institutional Church of God in Christ for the honor, the pleasure of being able to speak on yesterday. My friend, Mr. Otis Clark, called me up, invited me, and I told him I'm there, and I was there. And I thank you for the reception. I thank you for the love that was extended to me on yesterday. I thank you for all of those who paid attention. And I'm most thankful, and I'm trusting God and believing that I sowed a seed and that somebody was listening and that somebody will act as a result of Dr. Williams having been there. I want to come to your church next. Call me. Call me, 601-891-5611. 601-891-5611. Call me, reach out to me on the social media. I am so noted. I-am-S-E-W N-O-T-E-D. Want to send me an email? Add Gmail to the end of that. I am so noted at Gmail. I will come. I will show up. There is work to be done. Remember, this is about stewardship. This ain't even about me, y'all. I'm just called to do the work. And I'm learning how to operate in a spirit of obedience. God is working on me. So I want to show up for you. I want to bless you, your family. I do family reunions. If I've been invited, I already have some on the calendar for this summer to go and share the messaging and try to encourage our community to get our affairs in order. So please, I ask that you, if you will, support the work. Go on over to my page, iamsonoted.co, my website. That's the word that's trying to come to my mind, website. And support the work that we are doing. I'm doing God's work. This ain't about Dr. Williams, y'all. I don't make a whole lot of money selling the $20 book, $30 book, $40 book, $15 book. You ain't making no money doing that, especially when you're selling them one or two at a time. But I do appreciate you supporting the work, because every book that's sold is a few more dollars that allows me to put some of this high-priced gas in my vehicle and be able to show up at the next church or the next family reunion or the next social function. So I do appreciate the support. I appreciate you. Again, thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to being here and expanding our discussion. April is Financial Literacy Awareness Month, and we're going to have some serious conversation, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to talk about stewardship and what that looks like as it relates to financial responsibility. So I look forward to hosting those conversations. I want you to show up and be a part of this. Y'all, I'm here Monday mornings at 7 a.m. If you cannot join me on air, WNPR 90.1 FM, certainly you can tune into the show via YouTube at I Am So Noted. That's IAMSEWNOTED on YouTube or on Facebook. I stream my show on my personal Facebook page, which is Natasha Solomon. I think I'm putting that out there for the first time. So those of you, my 10,000 or so friends and followers, it is me. Nobody has hacked my page. I get asked that question all the time. I have a personal page and a professional page. So if you are friends with me on social media, Natasha Solomon, that's me. That's me. That's where I stream Facebook to. So we want you to be a part of these very important conversations. We will be elevating our conversations in the coming weeks around the Save America Act. I feel very strongly about that act, and I'm going to tell you why and how, but you got to tune in and be a part of this conversation. If you don't know what that is, go do your homework. Dr. Williams is saying go do that homework so you can have some intelligent conversations and responses when you call the show and not just calling just to be calling, okay? Because we're going to talk about that thing. It's some things that troubles me around that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to also be highlighting infant mortality in the state of Mississippi. So I got a lot to talk about, and I need y'all to come on back. But again, as I look up at the clock and I see my time is expiring, I'm going to end the show, and I'm going to ask Mr. Armstrong to give me just a second because I don't want to get in trouble with these YouTube folks and these Facebook folks. I need to end the show a little bit differently today. Instead of playing my outro, there is a song that has been sitting in my spirit. It has really helped me a lot as I am trying to navigate this valley experience that I'm walking through. So while we are getting off of all of these different social media platforms, y'all go run over there and turn that radio on to 90.1. If you're not in our local area, then download that TuneIn app so that you can follow us no matter where you are. Anytime you can reach 90.1 FM by downloading that TuneIn app. And you can just take us on the road with you. We would love for you to play us any time of the day and just be a part of our conversation. So give me 1 minute. Thank you so much. Again, I am Dr. Sabrina Edmond Williams, educator, author, and investor, opening minds and closing contracts. I am so noted, and I am so excited and so delighted to be back in the chair hosting Soul Talks, Money, and More. Peace.
WMPR 91.1 FM, Jackson, Mississippi.